What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. So definitely appreciate all of my sippers, known as my subscribers. Thank y'all for still supporting me and rocking with me throughout this journey. I know yesterday I was supposed to do a live with Red Supreme, and some things came up, or whatever. So I'm sure sooner than later, at some point, we'll reschedule and we'll make sure we try to do that part two that is owed to all of you. So again, I apologize about that. Something came up, so again, we'll get around to it when we can. So I'm moving further along. I thought this was very imperative that I discuss this. Um, Talking about how debt is killing married men. And I felt like this was a very imperative topic that needed to be covered. Because me, I've been married going on 21 years. And me as a married woman, I could understand, sometimes as women, as wives, we can be very, I won't say all of the time, but at many times we can be pretty selfish. Not taking into consideration that debt is a strain on our husbands. Debt is a strain to marriage. And it's unfortunate that a lot of women are not understanding, a lot of married women are not understanding that, debt could really take a toll on your husband. Debt could really take a strain on your marriage. And this is one of those stories. I'm sure some of you probably are familiar with this case. Some of you are not. But this case for me will always be one of those cases that um, will always somehow it just really triggers me. What this particular man here by the name of Chris Watts has gone through. So to kind of put y'all up on game, to let y'all know about this situation here, this happened back in 2018, and the gentleman you see here, he goes by the name of Mr. Chris Watts. So as you can see on Facebook, this is some of the Facebook pictures, some of the pictures that was taken off of his the media was able to gain access of these pictures before Facebook completely shut down. Facebook completely removed his wife's page, of course, because she's deceased now. So their page is no longer accessible. But these are the pictures that was on the Facebook page, and as you can see, they're like a very happy, prominent family. They look like they live in an American dream. A happy family, a husband and wife, 2 children. Everything just looks wonderful. Everything looks peachy keen. And I know you're wondering, how did it get from this to this? To him ending up in a jumpsuit, and basically this man is going to be serving life in prison for the rest of his life. So to kind of let y'all know what happened with Mr. Chris Watts. Mr. Chris Watts here, unfortunately, he, like many of you married men, became way in over his head. He became way in over his head, trying to please his wife, trying to live a lifestyle that he really couldn't afford to give her. What's up to everybody's coming in? Jay Shine, Ishmael, King Bob, Third Ward. Appreciate y'all. So basically, y'all, Mr. Chris Watts put a lot of strain, mental, physical, and emotional on himself, trying to please a woman, trying to please his wife. So to give y'all a little background on how it went from Mr. Chris Watts being his loving, wonderful husband to now a convicted convict in state prison. Basically what happened. What's up, Lord Drake One? Naima, what's up, boo? Good to see you. Mr. Chris Watts basically murdered his whole family. He took his family out. He killed his wife and he killed his 2 daughters. And it's an unfortunate situation because of the way they found his family. Chris Watts had been going through a lot of stress trying to keep up the American dream that his wife had imposed on him. Now, I will say this, I guess his wife, Shanon Watts, rest in peace to her, and their 2 beautiful daughters. Before all of this happened, Shanon Watts was a big-time she was a big-time blogger, okay? You can still find a lot of her videos here on YouTube, so whenever y'all get a chance, you're welcome to look them up. Now, I've been following this case for a long time because this is one of those cases I'm always leaves a strong impression on you once you hear about all the details and how everything was orchestrated throughout this marriage that finally pushed this man to the point to where he was like, you know what, I'm taking everybody out. And basically his wife has always been this big time blogger. She was promoting a company by the name of Thrive that does like dieting and diet shakes and all kind of stuff or whatever. So she was one of those wives, and I'm gonna say this respectfully, without disrespecting the Watts family and without disrespecting her family, because she is no longer here. So I don't like talking ruthless about somebody who's no longer here to state their side of the story. But this is just my personal interpretation after doing my own personal research, watching all her vlogging videos. She was very much into herself. I can't say it no more respectfully than that. She was very much into himself. She always was one of those women that was constantly on YouTube who shared the majority of her life. I say probably 5, 6 times a day. She would always post videos of her and her husband. And you can pretty much tell that she was the dominant one in that marriage because basically, while she did all the talking, you could barely really get anything out of him because she just took over conversation wise. And you could tell he was one of those humble husbands that pretty much, went with the flow. You got some men that are like that. I know some married men who have very dominant wives, where their wives are highly, very dominant. And not knowing the guy could come off as a simp if you really don't know the situation. And you got some men, they're just humble, but sometimes being a man, your humbleness can be mistaken for being a simp when that's not always the case. You just got some guys that ain't always, obnoxious and overly domineering. So you can tell Chris Watts was a laid back type of dude. He pretty much let her call the shots. And she even said it, she said it, she said, I'm more dominant than my husband. So for a woman who can openly say something like that and not feel some type of way, it pretty much kind of lets you know who was wearing the pants in the relationship, So she pretty much caught the shots. So basically what happened, let me get down to the meat and the potatoes of the situation so I can get to my main point. Mr. and Mrs. Watts was having a lot of problems in the marriage. Even though, Facebook wise, everything seemed perfect, everything seemed wonderful. Basically, his wife was very, like I said, domineering, demanding, and she came from a family that was kind of prominent. And that's the thing what men have to realize. When you meet a woman, it's very important as a man that you meet the family. Because if she comes from a bougie ass family, her father makes a lot of money, her mother has been married to a man that's made a lot of money, and let's say she's one of those women that's a daddy's girls, because you got a lot of women that are daddy's girls, where their daddies have always given them everything, where their daddies have always pretty much spoiled them rotten. So basically, Shannon was one of those type of women, you could tell she pretty much always had her way, for a very long time, and that's the chance you take as a man when you meet a woman and you decide to build a relationship with her. It's very important that you know her background and you know what type of lifestyle she's accustomed to, because what's going to end up happening is, as a man, she's going to expect you to fulfill the same shoes her daddy fulfilled before you. So if her daddy was one of those men who always gave his sweet baby girl, his wonderful little girl, everything, she's kind of most likely going to look for you to do that. Unless her father raised her to love a man for what he is, not so much what a man can offer. If she was a spoiled ass little girl, she's just going to grow and become a spoiled ass grown woman. Okay, it's not going to go away. You know what I mean? Met being cool, calm, and passive, often mistaken for being a weak until aggression is necessary. Absolutely, Met V. You said it, and that's what it is, But this is why, as a woman, you have to be careful. Never underestimate your opponent. When you think a man is weak, and you think a man is a pushover, and you think he's soft because he's passive, and he's pretty much a laid back type of husband where he's not very confrontational, whatever you want, he pretty much goes along with it for the most part. Eventually, the beast in him is going to come out at some point, because sometimes as women, we don't realize when we're doing too much, and you have to, as a wife, you have to have that third sensor to know when you're pushing your husband over the edge. And you have a lot of married women that are either blind to that, or they really just don't give a damn because they're selfish and they don't care what the man has to go through mentally, emotionally, or physically, as long as that man is willing to accommodate her feelings, even if it means stressing and killing himself financially in the process of it. So basically what happened, Mr. and Mrs. Watts' marriage became very turbulent because she was one of those wives. She loved living the luxurious lifestyle. If you look into the neighborhood that they used to live in, it'll let you know what type of lifestyle they lived. Now, this was the house they lived in, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, 9 times out of 10, these are one of those type of communities where the houses are probably 200,000 plus. I'm sure the mortgage is what in these type of houses, maybe 3,500 a month. Maybe one of y'all rich folks out there can tell me how much just the mortgage is in these type of houses, because I've never lived in these type of houses and I never will. I don't make that kind of money and my husband doesn't either. So for all you rich folks, if you can give me a general estimate of how much you think it was for them to live here, then let me know, because I really don't know. I'm just assuming just the mortgage alone is maybe 3,500 or 4,000. And that's not even including utilities and car insurance and things like that. So anyway, this was the type of neighborhood they lived in. Mr. Watts, he worked for an oil company. So he was making pretty good bread. They lived a pretty decent lifestyle. So he was making some good money. His wife, on the other hand, I don't think she was really working like that, but she did call herself trying to start her own business. So I won't say she was one of those wives that just sat on her ass. She was like doing different things, trying to start a business. She traveled a lot to try to promote products. I think she did like some type of marketing type of, business where she was making money off of, trying to promote certain type of products. But anyway, he worked for for a company that, was dealt with oil tanks and stuff like that. So to get down to the meat and the potatoes, Chris Watts basically became very stressed out trying to live a lifestyle for his wife, and it became a bit too much to the point he stepped outside of his marriage. 2,500. Okay, thanks, Jay Shine. Jay Shine says the mortgage is usually 2,500. Okay, because I don't know. My house is paid for. What we did was we bought an old modular home for like $70,000. By the time the bank tacked on theirs, I think it's probably like 80,000, whatever. And my house been paid off now, I'll say probably about 4 or 5 years. So we just paid property tax and stuff. What we did was we bought an old raggedy house and we fixed it up. We remodeled it as we went. Our goal was, me and my husband, we wanted to pay our house off before we got in our 40s. We wanted to get to a place to where we could pay something off early. That way we can travel and see the world and do other things. We didn't want to still be paying mortgage and not be able to enjoy nothing until we get in our damn 70s and 80s. So we paid our house off. I would say we was like, maybe, I think I was like 30 and my husband was 34, 35 by the time we paid off our house. So we've been able to travel and do things because we realized traveling and being able to live is more important than paying expensive ass mortgage for the rest of your life, to the point you can't really go nowhere. You can't really do anything because so much money that you make is going into the mortgage for the house where you have to stay and live. And okay, and yeah, that's true, Jay Shine. It depends on where you live. What's up, Kayla? Kayla says their relationship is a worst case example of the outcome of two narcissists together. Yeah, it was a very, very, very terrible case. Very terrible case. Very. I advise anybody, when I'm done with this laugh. Please look into the story. Watch the documentary. It will. This is it's something else. And Lifetime even made a movie about it. So anyway, they lived a luxurious lifestyle. He had nice big old work truck. They was really well off. He even brought his wife. This was her, I think, what, 2018, because she died in 2000. He killed her in 2018. So the Lexus SUV he bought her, that was in 2018. So this is just to give you an idea of how much debt he went in pleasing his wife. Now, as I stated, she was one of those wives. She loved the lifestyle. You have a lot of married women. We are more infatuated with the idea of marriage than we are actually being a wife. You have a lot of married women. They are more infatuated with the lifestyle of having a husband than actually being married to one. What documentary? I'ma see if I'm guess what? I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post it in my comments so y'all can look at the documentary yourselves when y'all log off from here. So I'm gonna post the documentary. Also, for all of you who have Netflix has a really awesome documentary on this. And what I like about the Netflix documentary, it it shows all the text messages and everything leading up to before he decided to kill his whole family. It breaks down everything. And like I said, I hate to be harsh about it, but if you really look at the whole scenario, I will say Chris Watts was wrong for killing his wife, his pregnant wife, and for killing his two little ones. But I will also say this: Shanon Watts was a piece of work. That's as polite as I can say it without offending anybody, because a lot of times when people are dead, we don't want to offend them. Of course, because that person is not here to defend themselves. So we want to try to be very sensitive to people who are deceased and no longer with us. But I will say she was a piece of work. And she was one of those women, you could tell her image meant everything to her, because this is a prime example. Soon as he brought her this vehicle here, she had to post it on her Facebook. She let everybody know, how much money he spent on her, and every time he bought something, she had to post it. She had to acknowledge it. I'm not going to play it because it's going to turn into a video, and I don't want them flagging my video for playing somebody else's material. But as you can see here, she had to let everybody know how much money her husband spent on a regular. So you can tell her lifestyle was very important to her. Now, speaking of that, yeah, this is her here posing in front of the Lexus SUV he bought her. So you can tell she was one of those women. She loved a luxurious lifestyle. Look at the truck he bought her. Look at the house they live in. And they traveled a lot. So traveling costs us money. You constantly getting on planes and you're traveling. You're constantly going out of town. This man had a lot on his plate. It is SOBC. It's a lot of men. That's why I'm doing this topic. How debt is killing married men. So basically, it got to the point where Chris Watts started stepping outside of his marriage, and he started seeing another woman. Started seeing another woman by the name of Nicole. He started seeing this new woman, all because he wanted to escape the boredom of just being a hard-working husband. So he started seeing this woman. And as always, a lot of people was going in on this chick. Oh, she's not that cute. Oh, she's not that attractive. How could he dare cheat on his wife for this basic Becky? That's not all that cute and not all that pretty. But he did say that basic Becky, which her name is Nicole Kessinger, made him feel like a man. If you look at Summer if you type in Shanon Watts and you look at all her videos, like I said, you can tell it was most of the time always about her and her kids. Now, she would mention her and her husband. She would mention her husband sometimes. And I'm not going to say she didn't love him, because I'm sure she loved him. But at the same time, I truly feel like her image was more important to her than having a solid marriage. And you have a lot of married women, their image is more important to them. I know some married women, they know their husbands are miserable with them. But guess what? They still going to put on this front because they don't care about how the husband feels. They don't care that the husband is miserable. All they care about is, he brought my new truck, he's paying the bills, he's paying the mortgage, he's paying for all our kids' tuition. I don't care if he's miserable. As long as he's supplying my lifestyle and making me happy, I don't give a rat's ass if my husband is damn near catching a stroke trying to please me. Jay Shine, I got a lot of co-workers going through this shit. Yep. In other words, she asked for it. So unfortunately, like I said, Chris Watts didn't feel like he was getting the love. And I'm not saying this because I'm condoning him for killing his wife. I would never condone him for killing his wife. All he could have done, all he needed to do was just leave her. But from what I've researched in my documentaries, and from what I researched following the story, she already told him when she found out he was cheating on her with this other woman, and she made it clear to him, I'm gonna divorce you and take you for everything you got. She told him, I'm gonna rip you to the cleaners. You gonna be paying child support up the ass, because of course, when the woman is finding out her man cheated on her out of anger, you know, when hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Once a woman finds out you have cheated on her, she's going to use all her poisonous venom to make you suffer for the pain that you took her through. So, of course, she felt some type of way because her little perfect marital image, she felt like Chris Watts tarnished that when he messed around with the basic Becky over here. Okay? So, of course, by her always being the dominant one of the relationship, to find out that her husband, who she thought was so weak and docile, he would never cheat on her, she was in for a rude awakening because she thought she had it like that. And there's a lot of married women who think they got it like that. They swear they got their husbands wrapped around their finger. Oh, he's never going to leave. I got all his kids. He's never going to leave. I got him in all his debt. He has to pay this mortgage. He has to pay my car note. He has to pay the kids' tuition. You have a lot of married women who know they got a hold on their husbands to a degree, and they take advantage of it. And with all due respect, that's what Shanon did. And this is another thing that married women do. Married women, a lot of them know that their husbands really are not connecting with them in the same. But you know what some of these married women do? They will keep getting pregnant every year just to keep their husbands tied into their marriage, even though they know the marriage is on its last leg. Now, mind you, Shanon and Chris had a very rocky stage in their marriage, like I told y'all. And he was already stressing with the fact that he had this big ass mortgage he was paying, like Jay Shine said, it was probably $2,500 a month. That's not including the trucks, his work truck, the gas, the insurance, and his kids, because let's face it, kids are bills, babies are bills. So he has all this weight on his shoulders. Okay. On top of that, she announces to him she's pregnant with their third child. He was already stressing with just the two kids they had. Usually, third ward said, usually when men cheat, it's not always about looks. Majority of the time, it's usually because the side chick is treating the man better or giving him respect as a man. Absolutely. And that was the point I was going to also address, that basic Becky or not, she was giving him something that Shanon was not giving him. The only thing Shanon, with all due respect, was giving him was debt and demands. That's all Shanon was giving him, was debt and demands and babies. And she probably knew the marriage was in trouble. So this is what ended up happening was, because like I said, she was one of those women, she loved to tell all of her business. She liked to share every little thing about her family. She liked to tell everybody what her husband brought her, where they go, what they do. And she went live letting everybody know that she was going to let her husband know that she was expecting a third child. So she went live and he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared. It shows a video of him coming into the house and she hands him a pregnancy test. And she says, honey, I got news for you, or whatever. And she hands him the pregnancy test. And he looks at the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test has 2 lines. And he was like, so we're pregnant? And she was like, yes, I've just found out I'm pregnant. If you could only really pay attention to the look on his face, it's on YouTube. When I'm done with my live, look it up. Look up Shanon Watts gives pregnancy announcement to Chris Watts or whatever, or type in Shanon Watts pregnancy announcement. If you really pay attention to the look on his face, you could tell he was not happy when she told him she was pregnant. Only thing he said was, wow, I guess when things happens, it just happens. That it was at that moment when this man mentally derailed. He mentally derailed when she told him she was with child number 3. That was when he went off the deep end. Again, she found out about his mistress. So when she found out about his mistress, she threatened him and told him, I'm going to make your life a living hell. I'm going to take you for everything you got. You're going to be paying child support. You're going to be having to pay for my mortgage. You're not going to be able to afford to even do anything for your side chick, because that's just how much I'm going to make your life a living hell. And from there, he snapped. And they got into a huge argument, a really huge argument. And that is when he strangled her in the bedroom. He strangled her. After he strangled his wife till she couldn't breathe anymore and she died. Now, mind you, she was like every bit of 5-6 months pregnant with his first son. He always wanted a little boy because he already had 2 girls. So mind you, his wife is pregnant with his first son. At this point in time, he lost it. He ain't cared about none of that. He just saw black. All of that went out the window. So he strangled her in the bedroom. At this point, he loads up his wife's dead, limp body and takes it to his big old work truck. So he goes and puts her lifeless pregnant body in the back of his big old 350. You know how these contractors drive them big ass like trucks or whatever. He puts her lifeless pregnant body in the back of his trunk like he was taking out garbage. Once he loaded her body in the trunk of the truck, the back of the truck, you know how them trucks have those long backs, he went back in the house and got his 2 daughters that was still living and breathing and loaded them up in the truck in the back seat as well. So mind you, he's leaving his house, driving with his dead pregnant wife and his 2 daughters that are living. in the back seat. So he's driving. He has all this time to really think this thing through. Exactly, Matt V. Pregnancy announcement is like hitting the reset button on a deck. Exactly. That's how he felt. If you saw look on his face, he was like, damn, again, I'm back and more dead. So he's driving a good bit of distance away from the house. At this point, he hasn't made up in his mind, I'm going to have to eliminate my whole family. Because I already see I'm going to be way in over my head. I'm going to have to take everybody out. Yes, Naima, he killed his wife. Now the story gets more interesting. He drives his wife's dead body and his two daughters, he drives them to an oil field. An oil field. The big old, this here. I'll show it to y'all, Chris. So he drives them to this big old field, which is where he works. This is the company here that he works for, or whatever. He works with oil tanks. And this was the oil site where the bodies were found. Okay. So he takes his wife out, pulls her out the back of the trunk, tosses her somewhere in a wooded area, and leaves her there. Gets his first daughter. I can't remember which one he got, but they was like 3 and 4. They was like 4 and 5 at the time. It was like 4 and 5. And basically he grabbed one of the little girls, he strangled her. He strangled the first little girl, choked the life out of her. So when he strangled that one and she became lifeless, he went back to the truck. So do y'all see how it's not looking good for him? Because he had all of this time to think. He had plenty of time to stop and think about what he was doing. Once Chris Watts went on a deep end, he went in full force. Okay, so what ended up happening was when he went back to the truck to get the second little girl, the second little girl was so smart, because you know these kids, they smart. These kids got a lot of common sense. After the little girl witnessed her mama was dead and she witnessed her sister get killed, she asks her, she said, Daddy, are you going to do to me what you did to Bella? So it's the daughter knew her father was going to take her out next. And this is something the child had the phantom. Could you imagine being 5 years old? You see your daddy, you know something wrong because your mama not there. And you just witnessed your sister get strangled. Now your daddy coming to you, and guess what he tells her? He says, yes, baby. Like, unfortunately, yeah, daddy gonna have to kill you too. It's not funny, but I'm just saying, this shit goes deep. It really goes deep. But this is what I believe, Matt V, because me and my mom talked about this. And a lot of people couldn't understand why he had to take even though he shouldn't have killed nobody. Let's make that clear. He shouldn't have killed nobody. But everybody couldn't understand why he took his daughters. And this is the theory my mother came up with. My mother said maybe in his mind, he felt like he would do his daughters a disservice if he left them here knowing their mama was gone and knowing he was going to go to prison. So in his own sick psychological ass reasoning, he might have felt like, I'd rather take them out than for them to live and suffer knowing what I did to their mama. And knowing that I'm going to go to prison and I'm never going to be able, they're not going to have me in their lives either. You get what I'm saying? Yes, he killed his kids too, everyone. Chris Watts killed his wife and he killed his children. So, he killed both his daughters and his wife. So that's what happened. And he came home as if nothing happened. And it took the detectives, it took the investigators, some time to get all the details. But how the investigation came about was her best friend hadn't heard from her. Her best friend was worried because, a matter of fact, I will show y'all the last time we saw Miss Shanon Watts. I'll show y'all the last time. Shanon. Because like I told you, Shanon traveled a lot. Which gave Chris Watts an advantage to mess around and cheat and see another woman, because again, Shanon was one of those women who always traveled. She did as she wanted to do, and left her kids, I guess with her people or his people, I'm not sure, or whatever. But she constantly traveled. She lived her best life, whether if Chris was content or not. Shanon was going to do her regardless. Now, this was her last footage right here. Because I guess, they had, in these type of neighborhoods, everybody got cameras. So this was the last time she was seen. Her girlfriend had just dropped her off. They just came from some type of convention. So this is her entering her house, not knowing death was only a few moments away. Okay? So she's entering her house thinking she gets to come home, relax with her family. She done did all this traveling, not knowing that this was going to be the last night she was going to be with her daughters or be with him. So as you can see, this really gets real. Okay. Yeah, this is very horrible. There's a similar story out there where a man killed his wife, mother-in-law, two daughters, and spared his son's life. Yeah, this happens a lot. And Kyn Robray, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, hun. I'm gonna just say Kyn, Kyn, says, wait, I thought it was a story about social media, couple goals or something. Unbelievable. Yep, and see, this is why you can't be idolizing people with these Facebook relationships, because behind closed doors is nothing like it looks. Okay? So anyway, the girlfriend got curious because she didn't hear from her. Because, Shanon usually has a routine, and her girlfriend's calling her phone. She's not answering. So the girlfriend called the police department. So that way the police department could meet her at the Watts house. So the police met with Shanann's best friend at the Watts house because, of course, Chris Watts wasn't really answering the phone when the friend reached out to him. So the friend panicked and felt like something wasn't right. Now, as you can see, you're going to see all this on a documentary when you look into it. Here it is. The police, the investigators, and all of them is inside the Watts house. Okay, so the Watts, Mr. Chris Watts, he's standing there all this time, knowing good damn well he murdered his wife and his children. He let the investigators come on in. He's standing there, complying, answering their questions. And at insult to injury, do you not know he went on the news pleading, wasting news coverage time, pleading for his wife and his children to return back home safely? Because at first he tried to make it seem like somebody just took his family. He didn't know where they were. He don't understand what happened. He put on this whole Oscar performance, begging and pleading for his wife and his children to come home, knowing they was never coming home because he was the one who killed them. But I thought white men don't abuse or hurt kids. I mean, like I always tell people, this is why you can't go by color. You can't hate. It's not just black women that are demanding. You got some white women that are very demanding. Hey, you get with these white women out here, they want, these white women, they want to live a certain lifestyle too. It's not that it's just black women that are gold diggers. You got some white women out there who want their husbands to put them in the most extravagant neighborhoods and put their children in the most high scholar schools. So it's important that you don't judge a person's color. You don't figure it's just a black man problem or a black woman problem. It has everything to do with, it's just a selfish ass person problem. You cannot go by color. You got some difficult white men out there, and you got some difficult white women out there. Got difficult black men, you got difficult black women. You just have to find the right companion that's going to be an asset to you and not mentally and financially drain the hell out you. So anyway, the police came over, and they finding all her stuff. So it's already looking bad. Shanon's cell phone is there. Shannon's pocketbook is there. Shannon's workout shoes that she wears every day is there. So Mr. Chris Watts didn't think this all the way through when he decided to kill his wife. He did not. That's how I know he's not. You're not a killer if you're not good at killing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no evidence. Her luggage from the night before was still sitting right to the door. He did not know what he was doing. He snapped and he lost it. Once he found out she was pregnant again, that took him over the deep edge. Like, this is just more debt. Now, I also heard this. Chris Watts was struggling trying to appease his wife. And that's really what the content is about. I know I've been going really deep into the story, but the content is about married men, how debt is killing married men. Because that's really what's going on. She was begging for his D. He was hell nah to the nah. Yeah, he stopped sleeping with her. She saw the marriage was in trouble. Now, if y'all look into the documentary, she even admits to treating him like garbage. And this ain't something I'm saying to make her look bad. She had been texting her girlfriend that she knew her marriage was in trouble because Chris stopped sleeping with her. Chris stopped being active and wanting to go places and do things. He once he got into dealing with the other woman, the less he was being into his wife. And she admitted, she texted her friend and she said, I have been treating him like less than a man. She texted and she said this. So she knew she was treating him less than a man, but because he was so humble and docile, she just kept running with it. And this is the thing. She saw that her marriage was in trouble. So what she tried to do, she tried to humble herself and be submissive, but by then it was too late. Damage was already done. Once she got a whiff of another woman in the picture, once Chris stopped taking her to bed, having sex with her, Chris started going to the gym, working out, looking good. All of a sudden, now she wants to get into her husband. Once another woman became a threat to the marriage, now she was trying to, bring the spark back in the marriage. She was trying to bring the spark back, but damage was already done. He was already way out there in the zone. He was already deeply involved with this other woman. By the time she decided to realize, you know what, I got to be a better wife. I'm up here making it all about me. I'm up here conveniencing my feelings. I never took the time to really care about his feelings. And this is stuff she admitted. So she knew she was treating her husband like Mississippi garbage. A lot of married women, it's a lot of married women out there who treat their husbands like gutter trash. They have zero respect for their husbands. They don't care how much their husbands provide and take care of them. They will still treat them like trash. And that's what happened. She had an easygoing husband, and she got used to him being so good to her. So she felt like she can say and treat him any kind of way. He gonna deal with it. I got all his kids. He can't go anywhere. He can't leave. I got him in this big ass house where he has to pay debt. And you have a lot of married women who do that. You have a lot of married women who pull that shit. They feel like, well, we got all these kids together. We in this big old house. He got to pay all his mortgage. You got some women married women who think they have a man trapped. But the dangerous part about that, when a man feels trapped and he feels like there's no way out, he's going to find a way out. And this is what Chris Watts did. Again, she knew her husband was tired of her because she said it. She said, I'm trying to fight. I don't know the exact words. Don't quote me exactly. But if you watch the documentary, they're going to show you all the text messages that she texted her girlfriend where she admitted, I know my husband is sick of my shit. Just keep it 100. What's up, Marty? Yeah, of course, third ward. Women are intimidated by other women, especially married women. Married women become threatened by the side chick. Especially, it's one thing if your husband is messing around, but he's still having sex with you. He's still taking you places. He's still, because you got some men, they know how to wear both hats and put on both faces. You have a man who can step outside his marriage, deal with a side chick, but his routine does not change at home. Because it's that he's not really miserable at home. He just wants to experiment and get a little dessert on the side. It's not because he's miserable with his marriage or he hates his wife, he wants out. You just have some men, and you have some women who cheat too. You got some people. It's not, doesn't mean something is wrong with their marriage. You got some people that are just greedy. For instance, you have a lot of food at home. But guess what? Every once in a while, you want to go out and get a burger. You could cook. You got plenty of food in your refrigerator. You got plenty of food in your deep freezer. You could defrost your own steak and make your own steak. But sometimes you just want a hot dog. It don't mean that you don't have no food at home because you're going out and eating at a restaurant. You just want to taste a little something different. But in this case, it wasn't just a little fling for him. He actually fell for this other woman, and she knew it. And that is why, third ward, this other woman became a threat to her, because this wasn't a woman Chris Watts was just banging. You get what I'm saying? He was feeling this woman to the point to where he wasn't even screwing his own wife. Now, any woman knows that when your husband stops taking you to bed, because I don't care how much going on at home, a man ain't gonna turn down getting no ass from his own wife. So if your own husband stops screwing you, that's a major red flag that he definitely wants out of that marriage. Because they ain't turning down no poutine. I don't care how miserable, you know what I'm saying, or what rough patch y'all in, a man ain't gonna stop screwing you unless he's really catching feelings for someone else. And that's what happened. He fell for this woman. This wasn't somebody he was just hitting off every once in a while. What's up, Marty? He actually wanted to be with this woman, and that's what made her get threatened. One thing about women, it's one thing if you're screwing another woman, and this is not to say that as a woman, it doesn't hurt when you know your husband is stepping out or creeping on you. It hurts. But the thing about it, it hurts even more when you know he loves this woman. Now that's when you know that becomes a threat to your marriage, when this is not a chick he just banging. He loves this woman, and she knew it. That's the scary part. So it's back to this point at hand. As I was stating before, Chris Watts, put that in here. This story is a prime example, because we, like somebody mentioned earlier in the chat, we have a lot of Chris Watts out there. You have a lot of married men that are mentally drained. You have a lot of married men that are financially drained. You have a lot of married men that are emotionally drained because their wives has basically pushed them to live a lifestyle that they are straining to upkeep. It's a lot of married men, a lot of, put it this way, it's a lot of women out here. You have no idea what your husband is going through to pay that expensive ass SUV truck note that you got him paying. It's a lot of married women out there who have no clue what type of debts their husbands are in to try to accommodate and please them. A lot of these women don't have a clue, and the sad part is a lot of them, they don't care. As a woman, you have to be in reality with how much money your man makes. If you wanted you a big baller, if you want to have that lifestyle of living in a big home, having 3-4 cars in the garage, guess what? You should have married you a celebrity then. The average working man, you are going to financially drain him. You're going to kill your husband, basically, because you're too busy trying to stunt and show off to your family members who do really got it like that. You trying to keep up with your girlfriends. You trying to keep up. It's a lot of married women are killing their husbands because they want to prove a point to family members who they trying to impress, to girlfriends they trying to impress, like, oh, look what my husband can buy me. Look what kind of house me and my husband live in. What's up, Hershey? You have a lot of this that goes on. Even if he doesn't have another woman, if he just so turned off from that, he doesn't want to have sex with you anymore. That says a lot about you, not him. Yep. Unfortunate truth, third ward. And that's what and this is what I'm saying. Debt is killing married men because it's too many women that are still trying to showcase. You want to prove a point to your mama. You want to prove a point to your single girlfriends who don't even have a man, or they in marriages that's just as turbulent as yours. It's a lot of marriages that are suffering because of debt. And it does one of two things. It's either going to push a man over the edge, like in Chris Watts' situation, he took everybody out. He just couldn't handle it no more. Or the man could just walk off and say he going to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee and never bring his ass back. It's going to be one or the other. You have to be true to your situation. There's no way in the world I can go out there and get an SUV note that's going to be over $600. Now, I can, but the reality is I don't want to strain my marriage like that. I can go out if I wanted to. I can go out. We can go out and get a bigger house. But my thing is, I don't want to strain my marriage like that. I don't want to strain myself, and I don't want to strain my husband. Guess what? Your marriage can have a big ass house and 3-4 cars, and guess what? You can still be miserable with each other. Your lifestyle, how much you spend in your materialistic lifestyle, it is not going to strengthen your marriage. It's not going to make your marriage better because y'all live in a bigger house. It's not going to make your marriage better because he pushing a Mercedes Benz and you pushing a Lexus. Yeah, you go places, people going to compliment your ride, but at the end of the day, your marriage is suffering. You don't know what your husband going through, because the truth is, men go through a lot trying to provide for their families. And I don't think we as women understand, and this is not to take away from us, because we go through a lot too, especially if we're also contributing and we're also doing our part. But as a man, just being a man, it's a lot of pressure on a man to be the provider, because by nature society has already placed those emphasis on the man, that you got to be the provider, that you got to be a leader. So men already have a lot of pressure on them just being goddamn men. because society has already told men you have to, in order for you to be a man, we're going through that now. We're being told that you're not a man unless you make an X amount of figures. You're not a high value man unless you ain't bringing in X amount of money. Men go through a lot of pressure to be men. It is not easy being a man because the world expects your masculinity is defined on how much money you could bring to the table. And that's not true. You could be a man that makes a lot of money, but that doesn't define you as masculine. But even the YouTube streets is teaching that, is running with that narrative that, oh, you ain't a real man unless you dress a certain way or you make a certain amount of money. Yeah, you could dress the part, but that don't make you a man no more than a woman. You ain't a woman because you can have children. You're not a woman just because you have a vagina. I know women who got a vagina and got children, and they're still not real women. All of our philosophies are screwed up as to what defines a real man and what defines a real woman. And from what I've been hearing in this situation, Chris Watts had a lot of pressure on him because not only was his wife expecting him, had him in all his debt with his big old house and his trucks and his SUVs and stuff, her family also, he had to deal with her and her family. You have a lot of married men that don't have the best relationships with their in-laws. You said some of these women got meddling mothers. You have some women who got meddling mothers who like to tell their daughters, oh, this is what your husband should be spending on you. This is what your husband should be doing for you. You crazy, Jay Shine. Marty says, can't forget about wives asking you to buy 1,500 Louis Vuitton purse just to show you care about her. I'd rather invest that money. And if she's a real woman, she would rather you invest that money. She would rather you invest that money. I just really, and I kid you not, I just got my first Michael Kors pocketbook. And for women who spend a lot of money, that a Michael Kors pocketbook is like buying a damn pocketbook from damn Payless. My Michael Kors bag, my husband bought it for me, was only $78. And I didn't even because it was on sale. I really didn't even want him spending that much. As long as my pocketbook is nice and it can match with my stilettos and my shoes and my outfit, I don't care if it's a Coach bag. I don't care if it's a Louis Vuitton. For one, I'm not about to have a bag that costs more than the average amount of money I keep on my person. In other words, I'm not about to have a $1,500 bag when I don't even keep $1,500 on me, not on my person. A lot of women getting bags that cost more than the amount of money they actually have on them. All that stunting and trying to showboat in the process, yeah, you looking good, but your marriage is suffering. What's up, D boys? Good to see you. And that's where, as a woman, that's where you have to come to reality of what's important to you. You either want a healthy marriage so you and your husband can both be happy with each other, because it's a saying that happy wife, happy life. We need to do away with that. It's called happy spouse, happy house. Both parties have to be happy in order for the relationship to prosper and grow. There's no such thing as only the woman's happiness should count. There's no such thing as only the man's happiness should count. If both of y'all are miserable, note to all married people out there, or for those of you who aren't married who one day may consider it. Note to married people. You have to be careful how much pressure you put on your spouse. So all my married women out there, don't have your husband sit up there and buy, 2020 Lexus when y'all barely getting by with paying the $800 mortgage. So all my married women out there, just because you are married, that does not mean you need to have 8, 9 kids in your marriage. Can your husband afford you getting pregnant every goddamn year? And you have some women are very selfish. I had a girlfriend of mine, she already knew her and her husband was under a lot of financial stress. And she did nothing to protect her body. She got pregnant every year. So you know what he had to do? He went and got a vasectomy before he got out of the military. He went and got a vasectomy. And that was the smartest thing he could have done, because he saw that his wife was trying to financially bury him. So what he did was he got a vasectomy. So there's no more children that can be conceived in a marriage. Not only that, when he saw that she was getting lazy, getting pregnant every year, and being lazy, not working and contributing, he got out of the military because she felt like, being that he was in the army at the time. You know how the military provides everything. Military provides housing and all of that. So she felt like she didn't have to work. She looked at it like, hell, you in the military paying for our house, military paying for our utilities. Hell, I ain't got to work. She got flat out lazy on him to where he was doing everything. So you know what he did? He intentionally got out of the military. That way she had to go get a job. Because he got tired of his wife acting like a spoiled Atlanta housewife, thinking she ain't got to work, she ain't got to do nothing. So what he did was he pulled the rug from up under her foot, pulled her from up under that materialistic lifestyle she thought she was going to always be able to live. And then it got tight. She had to work. Exactly, Jason. The weight just piled on afterwards. What's up, Mike Clemens? That's what happens. As a married woman, just because you are married, it does not make it right for you to keep adding so many responsibilities to your marriage. After a while, you're not going to be able to enjoy the marriage because you got so much damn responsibilities. Let me tell you, you got a lot of people that are miserable in marriage, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are miserable because of debt. A lot of married people are miserable because of debt. A lot of married people have divorced because of debt. Either there's too much of it, or you killing yourself trying to live a lifestyle that you know you can't afford to live. What's up, Beyond? Good to see you. Long time no see. I know you've been busy working. I feel you, especially with this law enforcement. The crime rates have gone up significantly since this damn COVID. I tell you that much. So yeah, this man, like I said, I don't condone what he did, but the man got stressed out trying to please his wife. He went from this prominent husband to a convicted felon. Now, I know everybody hates him because of what he did, and I'm not saying that we should overlook what he did, because he was wrong, they're wrong, and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. But people not looking at the whole picture. This man was trying to do everything to please this woman. And when he felt like his back was against the wall, everybody don't deal with the issues. Yeah, an average person may look at him and call him a simp. Average person may look at him and say he was less than a man, but everybody don't deal with their problems in an aggressive manner. Every man ain't gonna come home and beat on his damn wife because he's stressed out. Every man not gonna go home and drink through bottles of Crown Royal and Sea Rock Every man deals with his turmoil and his issues in his own way. So it doesn't make him less than a man, but what I believe happened with him, he realized he was way in over his head. But killing her was not the route to go, because what ended up happening was killing her put his he put he put his own nail in the coffin, because he's gonna end up dead in prison, because he's never coming out of prison. So the day he ever dies, it's going to be in prison. He killed himself. He killed himself too by killing her, because he killed his wife to be with the other woman. But how smart was that? Because you're in prison, you can't be with the other woman. He killed her because he realized how much it was going to cost him. Because like I said, you know, when we women, when we get mad, what's the first thing we do? When a woman gets mad with the man that she can no longer control, when a woman gets angry with the man that will no longer kiss her ass because she's used to him kissing her ass, the moment that man puts her in a position where she can't run shit, what's she gonna do? Go for his pockets. When a woman feels like she can no longer control a man anymore, she will go to his pockets. Let that marinate for a minute. A controlling ass female who feels like she's on a losing end, she gonna go for the pockets, because she has nothing else. There's nothing else she can do to sabotage that man's masculinity. But I will tell you this much. If Chris Watts was smart, let me tell you what he could have did. Let me tell you what Chris Watts could have did. Let's say if she was going to rip him to the cleaners and take him for everything he got. Does he not know he could have filed bankruptcy to where through the courts, she wouldn't have been able to get but so much a month? And depending on what kind of woman, Chris Watts, he's not an ugly looking guy. He could have got a woman just as bad as her and had way more to offer, to where she could have helped him rebuild his lifestyle to where he could afford taking care of his kids and still lived his best life. One thing about a woman cannot tear down a man. A man can always rebuild his shit quicker than a woman can. A woman can never destroy a man. I don't care how hard she tries. A man can always rebuild. Women, it takes us longer to rebuild. It takes us longer to rebuild. For one, a woman can't even run and get a man as quick as a man could run out there and get a woman of substance. I guarantee you, if Chris Watts would have played his cards right, he could have got on his feet and still would have been able to manage taking care of her without stressing. A woman can't do what a man can do. Men have that advantage. A man can always rebuild. Oh, Jay Shine, you was hiding his comments by accident. That's fine. I mean, I don't care how people express themselves in the chat room. Like I said, as long as nobody ain't calling somebody else anything, I don't care if people want to make statements about black women or whatever. Stuff like that don't bother me. We're here to express ourselves. So, like I said, I'm not, I don't patrol what people say unless people just really, really, really like doing the most. Other than that, I don't have a problem with people expressing themselves. But Chris Watts could have got on his feet. He already had a good job. All he had to do was, that's okay, Jay Shine. Yeah, Jason, that was an error, so please disregard. I've done it several times. Depending on when I'm moving around, I have missed and blocked comments and stuff, so it happens. But he could have got on his feet. Because a lot of time, let me tell you something, when we try to be malicious, sometimes it does not work out in our favor. She might have thought she was going to get all this big money, but if Chris Watts was smart, he could have filed bankruptcy. He could have let that house go up for foreclosure. Jason says, I found out my ex was a narcissist. When I banged her sister, I was younger, testing the waters. We live and learn. Okay, Jason. I definitely wouldn't want to be the type of woman to piss you off. Yeah, but he could have got on his feet. He took his life away by taking her life away. He don't know what the future would have hold. Well, he don't know how things would have worked out. Because I guarantee you, by the time the judge, all Chris Watts needed was a good damn lawyer. He could have had a lawyer that could have broke it down to where she wouldn't have hardly got that much money. Filed Chapter 13, bankruptcy, let the house go into foreclosure. Filed for divorce. He should have filed for divorce first. That way, he would have had more leverage. He could have already beat her to the punch and told the judge, this is all I could afford to pay a month. He could have had his money put in his parents' name to where they wouldn't have been able to retrieve how much money he really makes. It's 1,000 ways he could have went around not having to pay a whole lot like he thought he would have. What's up, sis? What's up, Poetic? Good to see you, hon. So that's why as married women, what's up, Nolan? You have to be careful about putting your husband in debt. Just because your husband has a good job, that don't mean y'all need 3-4 kids in 3-4 cars in the garage. It's only 2 of y'all. You don't need that many vehicles. Long as he can get around and you get around, all you need is 2. Just because you married, that don't mean get pregnant every year. Kids are bills. And again, a lot of this material lifestyle image has everything to do with women. We are always trying to impress somebody. You're trying to impress your sister. You're trying to impress your aunts. You're trying to impress your mama, who didn't really approve of your marriage to begin with. From what I heard, Chris Watts' mother did not like Shanon. And sometimes, most of the time, well, I ain't gonna say most of the time, some of the time, another woman can tell when another woman is going to be too much for her son. Just like a man can tell if his daughter is about to marry another man that's going to be more of a headache to her life. As a parent, you can tell when your child, your son or your daughter, is getting ready to build a future with somebody that's not going to be good for them. Chris Watts' mother did not like Shanon. And this is another point I want to make, y'all. Do y'all not know that Shanon didn't really care for Chris Watts' parents grandparenting their children? She didn't mind if her parents was always around her grandchildren, but she really did not like Chris Watts' parents. You don't think he felt some type of way about that? And he said that. He said that she didn't really care for their kids being around his family. That's an insult to a man that, oh, your family is good enough to be around our children, but my family isn't good enough. And that was another problem Chris Watts did explain after all of this was done. He said she didn't want their kids bonding with his parents like they bonded with hers. That's how controlling she was. So as I was stating, everything that looks glitter ain't always gold. This marriage been under destruction for a long time. It's been very volatile. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, you have a lot of married women. They don't care what their significant other is going through as long as they are providing the lifestyle. And you got some women who think like that. I don't care if my husband is damn near having a cardiac arrest, is damn near having a stroke, trying to provide for this lifestyle. I don't give a damn how many sleepless nights he has. Long as he's making me look good in front of my family, in front of my friends, by having me in his big ass house, by buying me these extravagant vehicles, I don't care what he has to go through. And I think Shanon, like some women, they become totally, what's the word, oblivious to that. He probably told her, babe, right now we can't afford that. This is another thing. I heard they was in so much debt. This is what's said on the documentary. I heard Chris Watts was in so much debt trying to please his wife. He went in his 401 retirement K plan. He went into his retirement plan. How you going to your retirement plan and you ain't nowhere close to retiring? This is a young man. He wasn't even in his 40s yet. Now you know that's debt if the man got to go in his retirement funds. He ain't nowhere near even 50 years old and already had to go in his retirement money. Why? Because he wanted to please his extravagant living, over the top wife, trying to please her, trying to make her happy. What's up, Cicely? How you doing? Again, he wasn't right for killing her, and he's going to pay the price for that. He's paying the price for that. But at the same time, we cannot have a tunnel vision here. You got to look at what led all the way up until this point. Got this man living way out of beyond his means. And you got a lot of married couples who are living beyond their means. Just because your man or your husband makes good money, that don't mean y'all should go out there and invest and get all type of big ass houses and all of these big trucks and stuff. Because you really, again, it's a lot of married people, they cannot enjoy their marriage because they got so much debt. You got some married people, you know why they can't travel and go places together to clear their mind? Because they got that big ass mortgage they got to worry about. And guess what? The bigger the house, the bigger the utilities. You're not going to live in a $200,000, $300,000 house and your light bill will only be $50. The bigger the house, the bigger the cost. Everything costs. Even down to the type of furniture you put in your house. You can't get that cheap rent-a-center furniture. You can't get no $500-$600 sofa for no $200,000 house. If her taste was that expensive with the house, could you imagine how expensive that furniture was? I'm sure her furniture wasn't even coming from no goddamn IKEA. That was not no IKEA furniture they had in their house. The furniture they had probably came from overseas. Her sofa was probably $5,000. The coffee table was probably $2,000. Well, I can get a nice sofa set, a real decent one. I'll say a nice sofa set that's gonna last you for a long time. You probably looking at $2,000. Okay, if you want that sturdy one that's not gonna break down and gonna last for generations to come, you may be looking at $2,000. Or if you just want a decent sofa that's gonna last you for some years, you may look at about $800. But the lifestyle they lived, you can tell she wasn't that kind of woman. You got some women that you not gonna find nothing in their house under $500. Exactly. More money, more problems. And as a man, that's why I tell all of these men, if you are considering getting married, or if you're in a marriage, you know you are straining to please your wife, you better make a decision before you end up being over the edge like Chris Watts. If you don't kill them, hell, you'll kill your damn self just trying to live a lifestyle that you cannot afford to live. But you got some men, they so in love with their wives, they don't care how miserable they are as long as they're making the wife happy. And some women are like little girls. When you start them off a certain way, you got to keep doing. It's kind of like whatever you did to get them, you got to keep doing that to keep them. Don't start a woman off a certain way and then all of a sudden now you want to cut back. It's like you were creating a spoiled child. There's nothing wrong with giving a woman nice things and giving her the best, but you can't give her so much of the best to the point you have to stress. If a woman really truly loves you and values you for who you are, she's going to learn to work with the blessings that you can't afford to give her. Because guess what? I know some men out here who spend big money on their wives, but that don't mean a man loves you because he's spending a lot of money on you. Some men will give their wives expensive cars, give her a black card, a debit card, give her everything she needs just so she can shut the fuck up and stay away from them. You got some men that will give their wives Scooby snacks just so he ain't got to deal with them. You got some men, they'll let they put their wives in the nicest houses, get in the nicest cars, just so he can go do what he want to do on the side. Well, as long as I'm giving her money, I can go deal with my side chick. As long as I got her in a nice house, I can go screw as many women as I want outside of that. She don't care. As long as I'm giving her money, as long as she got a Louis Vuitton purse and shoes in her closet, I can go do what the hell I want to do outside the marriage because she don't care about me. She only cares about what I can do for her. And you got some men, they use that to their advantage. You want them wives, you don't care about your husband, you only care about how much money he can spend on you. Guess what? He'll give you money just so you can stay the hell out of his face and he can do what the hell he want to do. So just because somebody's spending money on you, that does not make their love more valid than a person who can't spend a lot of money on you, but they will make time to be with you. They'll check on you, see about you, make sure you're straight, make sure, call and check and make sure your day is going okay. If you got a woman who ain't doing none of that, the only time she calling you is when she need a bill paid. Only time she calling you is if she see this new furniture on sale, then that already lets you know what kind of woman you're dealing with. Like I like that movie, A Bronx Tale. A Bronx Tale is one of my favorite classics. I'm a retro person. A Bronx Tale is about this young man, and I'm sure most of y'all should know it. What's the man who plays in there? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to probably look him up. But I like that movie, A Bronx Tale, because what ends up happening is the little young Italian little boy, as he grows up, he starts catching feelings for this black woman. And during that time and era, interracial dating was not acceptable. And that was when the young Italian boy, Colojo, started getting close to a big time, the mobster, the mob guy of the neighborhood who pretty much ran the neighborhood. And yeah, Colojo. Yeah, he pretty much the mob leader, pretty much him and Cologio had a bond. So he taught him a few things along the way. And when he wanted to date this black girl, he was worried about, what everybody in the neighborhood was going to say, how everybody was going to feel about it. He was pretty concerned about it. And like the guy was telling him, don't worry about what other people think. It's all about, Sonny. Yeah. And you would think I would know that. I done watched the movie 1,000 times and my brain got froze. Yeah. Sonny became like a mentor to Colosio and was teaching him a lot about life and teaching him, giving him wisdom, giving him knowledge. And when him and a black girl was going on a date, he said, I'm going to let you borrow my car. I'm going to let you borrow my car. And I'm going to let you do this test. I'm going to tell you this test that you can do to find out what type of female you're dealing with. You go on her side, you open her door first. And then you close the door. When you go on your side of the car and don't even open the door, if she don't lean over and pop the door open for you so you can get in, that already lets you know you dealing with a selfish ass broad. What's up, Devin? You dealing with a selfish ass broad. Dump her immediately, because that's just a small display of what's to come. And that's the truth. So any of you guys out here who's dating a bougie ass woman, I don't care how beautiful she is, I don't care how bad her body is, I don't care if she's top notch. If she's already showing you she's materialistic, she's too good to eat at Red Lobster, she'd rather eat at Ruth's Chris, she's too good for you to buy her a nice little $50 pocketbook because it doesn't say Coach on there, it doesn't say Louis Vuitton or Prada. If she is already showing you how she is on that level, that already lets you know what type of female you're going to be dealing with. Yeah, Ambiance says the 70s, 80s, and early 90s was a different time of mindset. It really, really was. Because people was genuinely looking for love. People was genuinely looking for people to care about them. But now it's like, damn, you got to go in your goddamn wallet and swipe your card to prove you have to do that to prove that you're a man. And as a woman, you feel like the only reason you can prove you're a woman, you got to sex a man to death and do all kind of tricks in the bedroom to make yourself look, like you got something valuable to offer. So it's just amazing, as to how we got away from the point of, looking for a genuine connection. People got to either open their legs or open their goddamn wallets in order for people to show any interest in them. And if you're out there in the dating world and you're meeting people that's on that level, don't even waste your time. Time is too short to be dealing with women that just want to play mind games, to be dealing with men that just want to manipulate you or whatever. Life is too short for that. So definitely be careful. Don't put yourself in a situation like Chris Watts did. He became way in over his head trying to please his wife. He put himself in a lot of debt. And when it got too much, he took his whole family out. This ain't nothing new. We hear about this all the time on the news. You go on YouTube and find 1,000 stories, men who have killed their wives, men who have killed their children because their backs was against the wall and they could not handle the stress. Now, I will also say this, and this is not the case with all men, but I would also say this point. You have a lot of watered down dudes that don't take leadership. Whatever your wife say goes, and you don't put your foot down as a man. Your wife tells you how much money y'all gonna spend a month, and she's not working. You're the one that's making the money. You know what your pockets can stand and can't stand. Okay, babe, whatever you want, babe. If that's what you want, babe, I'll get it, babe. You have some men that are pushovers. They have no say so. The woman runs everything. We all know that one dude that pretty much let their wife bulldoze the hell out of him. Everybody knows that one dude. Everybody has that one friend. We all know that one brother whose self-esteem is so low. He's so glad he got a beautiful wife because he probably never had an attractive woman before. So when he did marry a beautiful woman, he's breaking his neck to please her because he don't have no real confidence as a man. Yes, I know some men who have wives that are pushovers because some men, they've never had attractive women. Never had women who was really even into them. So the moment they do get a woman that's attractive, and nothing wrong with getting an attractive woman, but you get a woman that's attractive, demanding, and nasty, and selfish on top of that, your little bruised male ego, you scared to let her go because you feel like that's the best you can do. I know some guys like that now. I have a cousin like that who, true story. He's not a bad looking guy, but the wife he has is the prettiest woman he's ever been with. He never had women that was drawn to him that looked the way she looks. So it wasn't that, and what he doesn't understand and what some guys don't understand is sometimes a woman is not attracted to you for you. She's attracted to the weakness that's in you. My cousin, his wife was not attracted to him. She was attracted to the weakness in him. She could smell he was a soft dude. She could smell he was the type of dude that she could pretty much run over him and get what she wants. And that's what happened. So some of you guys, while you're walking around here thinking you got a trophy wife, like you got a woman that's a damn prize, she's not a prize. She just chose you because you were easy to be chosen. Other guys ain't about to sit up there and take the shit you take. A lot of men out here got pretty women by default, only because she knows another man is not about to deal with what you deal with. That's what happened to my cousin. So he got married to this pretty Puerto Rican female who basically turned him out. Because again, he never had an attractive woman before. Some of these guys get turned out with an attractive woman, like a smoker get turned out hitting some white lines for the first time. You ain't used to that kind of hit. You ain't used to that kind of attention. When you do get it, you don't know how to act with it. And that's what happened. He ain't never had a pretty woman before. So when she came and gave him all that attention, he was hell over heels. Not only that, she was more experienced in the bedroom than he was. Yeah, smart men not going to deal with it. I agree with that, Devin. Now, a man of wisdom and knowledge, he's not going to let a woman's looks manipulate him. He can tell just by the way she carry herself, the way she talk. He be like, man, I don't give a damn how good she looks. She crazy. That woman bipolar. She ain't got them all. Most men could read right through it. But these simps or these simple-minded guys, they become so infatuated with a woman's looks because they never had a woman look good before to show interest in them. They fall prey to it. So anyway, my husband got with her. She already had a kid. He overlooked all of that, got with her anyway. Then they ended up having a child together. And from there all the way to that point, it's been nothing but hell for him. It's been nothing but hell for him. She has cheated on him several times. Him being in the military, every time he got deployed and was sent to another country, she was out here just getting all kind of pipe on him. Just totally disrespecting him to the lowest common denominator because she knew he was simple and she knew he never had a woman like her. So she used all of that to her advantage. And what ended up happening was, once he realized, she was treating him less than a man, disrespecting him, messing around with his friends, even messed around with somebody in his family. I could go all day about stuff she done did, but I ain't got that kind of time. So he finally came to a point where he realized, okay, I need to divorce her. She's gotten so used to disrespecting me And that's what tends to happen. If you are a man and you are a woman, a person, your spouse that got used to disrespecting you so much, you can't retrain them. You can't reprogram them. Once a person has got used to disrespecting you on a certain level, you can't do nothing but leave them at that point. There's no reprogramming a person who has disrespected you to the utmost. So I guess it came to that point. He was going to leave her. And the family, we was going to back him up 100%. His father, when they got the lawyer, the red carpet, everything was laid right there for him to divorce her. He changed his mind. For whatever reason, he changed his mind. He had all this proof of her committing adultery, all this proof that he had to pay for her abortions, of her getting pregnant from other men. Everything, all the balls would have been in his court. But for whatever reason, because they got a child together, he ain't want no other man raising his son and all this other stuff. So what tends to happen is men who marry whorish women, some of them, they are afraid to leave their children because they know their wives, their wives are whorish. And they are fearful that she's going to let the next man come in and raise and be over their children. So you have some men, they'll stay in volatile marriages just so their wives or soon to be ex-wives, they don't want to have to deal with the fact that she's going to be having all kind of men in and out of their children's life because you already know he married a whore. And he knows that's her character. And he knows that if he leaves her, his children are going to be meeting every time they can have it. So my husband was fearful. I'm sorry, my husband. I mean, say my cousin. My cousin was fearful on that. So he stayed in the relationship. This is what ended up happening. This is a true story. I'm not making this stuff up. He declines to go forward with the marriage. I mean, with the divorce. So my uncle then was like, all right, if you want to stay with her, that's all we can do. We can only support you if that's your choice. Her behavior continued to get worse throughout that marriage. She still was holding on him, still disrespecting him, right? So what he started doing was he stepped outside on her. He stepped outside on her, and she was another one. She caused him to be in a lot of debt. She had a lot of tickets for DUIs, always getting caught drunk driving and all this other dumb stuff. So she took my cousin through a lot financially too, as well as emotionally. He had to pay for all her DUI school, all her DUI tickets. I mean, he spent thousands clearing a lot of his wife F-ups. So anyway, he started cheating back. He wasn't man enough to leave. Instead, he wanted to cheat back. That all I did was added more problems to what he was going through. So while he was out seeing this other female or doing his little thing or whatever, she texts him throughout the day, where you at, who you doing, you must be messing around, even though she been screwing on him for years now. He out there one time for the first time, she can't handle it. That's usually how it is. The one who does all the cheating, when somebody else cheats back, they can't handle it. They want to kill somebody. So at this point, she's in an uproar. Him and her, they going back and forth through text messages. Keep in mind, he was driving at that time. He was driving at that time. They going back and forth in a text message war. He was driving. He got into an ongoing car accident. He hit somebody, head collision. He was texting and driving, arguing with his wife. So yeah, I got into a severe car accident that damn near really could have killed him. So what ended up happening was, as he was on his phone texting her, going back and forth with her, he hit another car. By the time he looked up, the car was already there. He hit the car. His head hit the windshield. Okay? It's a true story. My cousin, his head hit the windshield. It caused his brain to shift another direction in his head. It caused his brain, it put his brain moved his brain out of place slightly. Okay? So, what ended up happening was he was in the hospital for months trying to get back to normal. And at this time, now his wife, who already had been dogging him, holding around on him, disrespecting him, now she really has full control of his life. Because now because of the accident, it has caused him a mental impairment. And now he has the mind of a 13-year-old. He can no longer drive for himself. He can no longer handle business. Now his whorish wife is over all of his estate, and she has control of everything he does, to the point to she got pregnant on him and had twins from him. And because he had twins from another man, let me correct that. She had twins from another man. This is why this damage has happened to him, where he has a mental impairment now, to where he reasons with things like a 12-year-old, to the point to where she was able to get him to sign off on some birth certificates for children that were not even his. That's how much control she has over his life. So I tell a lot of married people this: if you already have a no good husband, a no good wife, just realize that if something tragically happens to you, that person is going to be all over your estate, and there's nothing your family can do to help you. Now, the military was willing to try to help them get custody of him, his parents, my aunt and my uncle, to get custody of him, because they had proof that his wife was very neglectful and was not taking him to all his therapy appointments, to all of his psychological appointments. And meanwhile, she's getting this fat ass military check. She got a large allotment, and she's still getting that allotment to this day, because he is permanently has a mental deficiency. So because he was in the military at the time it happened, the military is going to always make sure she gets a check for him. Okay? And see, hey, what's up, Virgil? My brother is in the chat room, and he knows about it. My brother says, hey, big sis in chat. And yes, this is literally a true story. Our cousin's wife is trouble as hell. She's a fucking demon. So I got family in here that is telling you, we telling you this is a true story. We're not making, I can't make this shit up. Okay? And she's over all of his estate to this day, And again, he is taking care of children that she had from another man. And now she has to do what's called karma, because she done spent all of the money wrong, not investing the money like she's supposed to invest it. She done put herself in a lot of debt, and now she has to work a job, and the kind of money she had, she would have been set for life. She didn't do well with the money that they gave her. I think the military cut her an $80,000 check or something when that accident first happened, and she bought everything but a house. The Buick LaCrosse they had, which was a really nice car, she could have paid that off. She didn't even pay that off when she got that $80,000 check. She was everywhere, traveling with his money, doing all kind of stupid ass stuff with his money. And because he's mentally impaired, he had no control in telling his wife, don't spend my money like that. No, this is what you do with the money. This is what you do with that money. This is what happens when you marry somebody and you do not leave them when you are in your right mind. Because God forbid if something tragic happens to you, your psyche, or if you're in a deathbed and your family, your wife or your husband has to decide to pull the plug, guess what? Whatever that wife or that husband say, that's what's going to stand. It don't matter if the whole family know your wife ain't shit. It don't matter if the whole family know your husband ain't shit. If your husband or your wife say, pull the plug, guess what? The law is going to honor that. You got a lot of married people out here who got some shady ass husbands, shady ass wives. God forbid something happens to you, they're gonna take you for everything you got. They're not gonna look out for your parents. They're not going, like Kobe Bryant situation. You leave here with stuff undone. Your wife who don't like your family, your husband who don't like your family, they're not gonna get any goddamn thing. Virgo says, could have easily invested that damn money. Could have made more money with those military benefits. She's stupid as hell, and the family still don't like her. Exactly. And now, like I said, she's miserable and she's suffering because all that karma then came back to collect the debt. All that karma, all that money about gone. She ain't getting the money she used to get. When you try to be evil and malicious and you take advantage of people, stuff come back. You ain't got to retaliate and get even with nobody. Sit back, fall back, and let the chips fall where they may. Karma gonna catch up with folks. You don't have to get even. You don't have to retaliate. You don't have to do nothing. Let karma do its magic. Karma gonna do that regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I did today's content. How debt is killing married men. As the man of the household, you are a leader. Don't abuse your leadership authority, but be the leader of the household. Be the leader of the finances. Do not allow your wife to put you in debt because she's trying to impress her friends. She's trying to impress her mom or her daddy. Because at the end of the day, if she really loves you for you, she's still going to be there for you, whether you could afford to give her the best of everything or not. A person genuinely loves you, they're going to make that a priority. They're going to make sure you straight. There's no way a man should be busting his ass and killing himself to give a woman a lifestyle that he know he can't afford to give her. That's what Chris Watts did. And in the end, he put himself in a bad predicament, knowing he could not continue to upkeep that lifestyle that his wife was pushing him and enforcing him to do. So anyway, hopefully today's content, somebody learns from it. Again, also to all the married women out there, all to women who may one day get married. This is very valuable information that you need to be cautious of. Do not stress your husband out by making him get in extra debt that you know you cannot afford to help him with. If you're not working, you're not contributing, you're not helping that man, you don't need to be placing all type of demands on him, making him get all type of extravagant vehicles, have him to move y'all in these extravagant homes that's 200,000, 300,000, and this man is barely resting at night because he's put in a position where he got to pay all his debt. You should want your husband to be stress-free, and that means not living a lifestyle that is beyond his financial contribution. All this, you trying to impress your friends. You trying to impress your friends who's struggling just like you. Black women are always trying to impress other black women that are struggling like them. I don't understand that. Me personally, if I got to have friends who I got to impress, I don't want no friends. You too good to come to my $70,000 house, then guess what? May the force be with you. I'm not going to be losing sleep at night because I'm trying to pretend to be something I'm not. I'm trying to hold on to a car that I can't afford to hold on to. I'm trying to hold on to a house that I can't afford to hold on to. I can't sleep at night because I'm worried about the repo man pulling my 2020 Lexus that I know I can't afford. I ain't been able to make payments on it within the last 2-3 months. Some of y'all got cars that y'all can't afford. You can't even stop the Wendy's and get you a burger because you got to pay that highest car note and then that highest car insurance on top of that highest car note. A lot of y'all are miserable and stressing, trying to pretend to be something you're not. Living outside your means because you're trying to impress and you're trying to stunt. But guess what? You know what I notice, y'all? Do you know people are going to talk about you regardless? Do y'all not understand that? Whether if you're struggling or whether if you're doing good, you get a brand new car. People gonna say, "Oh, well, why she got that car? She knows she can't afford to pay that. How she afford to pay that 2020 Lexus and she had to borrow $20 for some gas money? How she afford to get that? Or if you got a raggedy car, man, that raggedy car, they can't get something better than that. They can't get something nicer than that. That's the best they can do. Guess what? People are going to talk about you regardless. So let them talk about you. At least you know you're comfortable. You're going to talk about me. You're going to talk about me. And I'm sitting in a position I'm comfortable. I ain't stressing that night. I ain't got to worry about is the repo man going to pull my 2020 out my front yard. Guess what? I got my 2016 Toyota RAV4. I could have went to Toyota the other day. Let me tell you about these dealerships. I have traded in my car. I have got to upgrade 3 times with Toyota. 3 times. Thanks for the cash app, Mr. Kelly. Appreciate it. Thank you for the cash app. I went to Toyota. I seen a nice 2000 because I like my Toyota RAV4 Jeep. I'm short. I'm 5 foot even, so I like height. I don't like to drive regular cars. I like my little Jeeps or my little pickup trucks or whatever. So I went to Toyota and I saw this nice 2019 Toyota RAV4 hybrid. That thing was cutting up, y'all. That thing had leather seats, had the start push buttons. I'm telling you, I was so tempted in a trade in my 2016 for that 2019. It was really nice. At the sunroof, at the whistle, at the works. My current note right now is like 505, okay? My car is going to be paid off by next year. Because I had it since 2016, like 6-7 year note. Plus, I've been doubling up. So I will get the title to my car, God spare my life, within 6 months to a year. Okay? So I saw the hybrid, the 2019. These jokers gonna tell me if I trade in my car, okay, they was gonna what? Give me what? I forgot the damn blue book value for my 2016. I ain't going through all that, but anyway, y'all get the drift. They was gonna give me a good bit now. They was gonna give me way more than what my car was worth to put towards as a trade-in. But guess how much the god doggone note was gonna be? My note is currently 505, okay? And like I said, my car be paid off, my truck will be paid off in like a year. These jokers told me it's only $675. They told me my note will go from 505 to $675, and then my notes would be, it would reset me back to another 6 years. Ask me, did I get that Toyota RAV4? Please ask me if I got it. Hell no. The answer is no. I left that 2019 right there and pulled off in my 2016. You think I want to be paying for something for the rest of my life? I want to keep paying on something? I want to own my car eventually. You got some people, they trade in cars every year. You'll never own anything. And make it so bad, Cicely, he said it with a smile. He said, it'll only be $675 a month. He said it with a smile, like that was going to make it better. Exactly. Exactly, little bro. I said, oh, hell no. I left out of there and went to Starbucks. I'm telling you, it looked nice, but I had to be honest with the reality. Come on, Mocha, your car about to be paid off in a year. Why are you going to trade off your car that's about to be paid off in a year for a higher truck note, and then you going back to 6 years? So you know what I'm gonna do? My 2016, I'm gonna get them to put a push start button in it for me. I'm gonna upgrade it to a 2019. I'm gonna get all the works done. I'm gonna get new leather seats put in, all that. I'm gonna make my 16 look like a goddamn 20. I'm not paying for no damn 2019. No extra $175. I barely want to pay the $5 something I'm paying. So you know, if I would have paid that, if let's say if I was trading that car, right, my insurance would have went up, my tag would have went up because of the kind of car it is. Smart woman, I am driving a 2007 Saturn that's paid for. I am going to purchase income property. Exactly. Exactly. I said, no way in the world. I left that right there. Even though the car had way more features than mine did, but honestly, every car that I had with a sunroof, I love sunroofs. I'm gonna be honest, I love sunroofs. But every car I had with a sunroof, I never used it. That was the crazy part. I've never used it. I just like it because it makes the car look good. But I ended up leaving it there. I'm like, I'm not about to pay extra. I'm about to go 6 years back just for a sunroof, just for a push start button, for some leather seats. But what I am going to do, I'm going to go to one of those audio shops and get an estimate on getting my seats upgraded, getting leather put on my seats. Or I'm going to find some nice leather seat covers or whatever and keep it moving. Because, like I said, I'm almost in my 40s. I don't have nobody to impress at this point. I'm settled in my life. You know, my one child I got is grown. I don't really rock it with nobody to really impress. When you roll by yourself and you always solo, it's not, you don't have nobody that you have to impress. Anyway, so I don't be having a lot of company in my house. Nobody comes to my house like that. I don't ride a lot of people. I know anybody out here who got a car, if your passenger seat stays full of stuff all the time, that's just how you know you don't rock with nobody. My passenger seat is always full of stuff. I don't ride nobody. I really don't kick it with too many people. I chill by myself. So, you know, I got my 1 or 2 friends I talk to behind closed doors. We kick it and stuff like that. But once you hit 40, impressing, that it should be out of style by then. Now, I can understand if you're still in your 20s because you're young, you don't know no better. Once you start hitting them 40s, impressing should be out of your vocabulary. It really should not even matter to you. Auction with a sunroof. Okay, but see, at least he went to an auction though. That dealership, I said, and then let me tell you something. When they told me the car that I could have traded in, my note was going to be $675. That's when I left. And no, I apologize. He didn't say $675. He said $575, which is still too much. I ain't want to pay another $20 added to my car note. Main thing is I don't want to go back to 6 years because I only got 1 more year on the car that I have now. So he calls me back when I leave and tells me we could bring it down from $575 to $550. Are you freaking serious? You only saving me $25. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. Please be careful, people. Don't get in debt trying to stump for other people. Because at the end of the day, you the one that's gonna be stressing. You know what I'm saying? Stressing, trying to impress. Don't stress trying to impress. Okay. Now, speaking of that, for those of you who want to save money and you currently got cable, I can make your life a little easier. I got my own live stream cable app. Some of y'all in here may be paying $200 for cable. These cable companies are highway robbery. I got my own cable app for anybody who watches cable. And if your cable bill, I know if you have a cable provider, 9 times out of 10, your cable bill is close to $200 a month. You're paying about $150, you're paying about $175. I can make your life a little easier. You got the holidays coming up. You got Christmas coming up. You got Thanksgiving coming up. A lot of y'all are going to be traveling. You're going to see family, or you're going to have family coming down to see you, family to hang out with you. So I can make your life a lot easier if you purchase my cable app. I have 11,000 channels for only $26 a month. You would get like 9, 10 HBOs, 11 Showtimes, 15 Cinemaxes. I also have all the local stations. So if you're the type of person you love to watch your news channel, I don't care what state you are in, my cable app comes with local news stations. I also have live pay-per-view events for free. So for all of my guys, you like to watch your pay-per-view events and you hate that you got to go to somebody else's house because you don't want to pay for it. You know it's going to end up on your bill, another $50, $60. I can get you all free pay-per-view events included for $26 a month. This is not a promotion. This is forever. How it works is you have to have high-speed internet and you have to have an Amazon stick. If you have both of those things and you email me, you contact me and say, Mocha, I'm interested in getting some cable from you. I'm tired of dealing with this cable company. They want too much money or whatever. Hit me up, email me. This is my email. And I can connect your cable today. If you got a Fire Stick, I can connect you today. For those of you who are paying for Netflix or Hulu, Netflix for 2 devices, I think it's what, $10 a month. Just another $15, you can get way more than what Netflix has to offer. Not only that, I get a lot of Netflix originals on my app. So if there's certain shows you like on Netflix or Hulu, I also have those originals on my app. So if you're worried about, well, if I get rid of Netflix or Hulu, then I may lose my original stations. No, my app comes with all of that. You don't have to be in the United States. You don't even have to be in my state of Georgia. I don't care if you live in Washington. I don't care if you live in Jamaica. I give cable internationally and also within the states. I don't care if you live in California, Texas. I can give cable to you anywhere you live. Also, the reason why you get almost 11,000 worth of channels is because you also get a lot of international channels. So I also have international channels from Mexico, from China, from Jamaica, from Netherlands. I also get cable all over the world, which is why my package is so huge. Now, you know, with the original cable, they put, if you getting cable from Comcast, or Dish Network, or Satellite Dish, or whatever, or DirecTV, y'all notice the best channels they have it available in the most expensive packages. With me, I have all the channels and more, and you're still going to only pay $26 a month. These other cable companies, they want you to pay a lot of money to get HBO, Stars, Showtime. I give you all of that, and you're still only going to pay $26 a month. We also have adult entertainment for those who are interested in adult entertainment. We also have religious programs for those of you who like to watch a lot of religious networks. You may have a grandmother or grandfather who's up in their age, and their cable is very expensive. You can get a Fire Stick for senior citizens. You get a Fire Stick for your mother or your father, and you just pay $26 a month. They can watch their cable for $26 instead of letting them pay all this money. And our parents, they older, they up in their age, they getting SSI. They can't afford to pay all this money for cable. For those of y'all who got the holidays coming up, you can buy cable for somebody as a gift. Get the Amazon stick, email me and say, look, I need the instructions so I can install your cable on there. And you can give that to somebody as a gift. And they can just pay me $26 a month, or you can pay them. Now, keep in mind, my cable is for 2 devices. No, it's up to 4 devices. So you get up to 2 devices, or you can get up to 4 devices. If you do 2 devices, it's $26. If you do 4, I'll make a deal. I'll probably do it for like $50 or $60 instead of charge you $25 for each device. I'll knock off like $50 or $30 or something like that. But either way, if anybody's interested in cable, I have a solution for those of you who don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So anyway, if you are interested, also you can take your cable with you. If you go out of town, you're traveling, you take your Fire Stick with you. That way you can watch cable at your hotel. Or if you're going out of town, a family, and they don't have cable, as long as they got internet, you can take my cable with you everywhere you go. As long as you got the Amazon stick with you, you can plug it into the back of the TV and watch whatever you need to watch. So anyway, everybody, I'm going to get ready to shut it down. I thank everybody for supporting me. I thank y'all for Cash Apping, send me the Cash App, send me the donations. If all goes well, I should be going live tonight on my Mocha's Ladies Lounge channel with Poetic Kales and Classic Ruby if she has time to stop by. So and for all of my ladies, if y'all have not subscribed to my Mocha's Ladies Lounge, make sure y'all do that. That is my channel separately for women and for women only. Today's content is brought to you by the Anti-Fuckery Zone, promoting knowledge, not garbage. We aim to build the Black community, not demolish it. Okay, so everybody, to all of my sippers, I appreciate y'all for coming by, supporting your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. Okay. For those of you, before I shut it down, I did have a question about my cable. Where you can get the stick from, you can get it off of Amazon. Amazon has the Fire Sticks. Now, keep in mind, Amazon has different Fire Sticks. You got the Amazon Lite, I think, which is only like $30. That's the basic Fire Stick. Then you have the Amazon 4000 stick that has a lot more features. It can actually control the volume up and down on your TV. That way you don't have to get the remote to your TV to turn the volume up or down or whatever. So you really don't have to get no expensive Fire Stick. The quality does not depend on what type of Fire Stick you get. If you want good streaming with my app, you just have to have good internet. You have to have megabytes per second of at least 25 or higher. The higher the internet, the better the quality. So I tell all my customers, just get the regular $30 Fire Stick. You really ain't got to get the $40 one unless you want extra little stuff on it. You get what I'm saying? But I tell everybody, you don't have to spend extra money unless you want to. Now me, I'm extra. I brought the $40 Fire Sticks because I want the stick to control the volume button to my TV. The basic Fire Stick does not do that. You get what I'm saying? But it does everything else. So it just depends on what type of stuff you like on there. Other than that, I tell people don't spend a lot of money. Once you get the Fire Stick, you contact me, you email me. I'm going to send you the information and install my app on there. I'm going to set up your account. Once I set up your account, you let me know how many devices you want. If you got 5 TVs, you need 5 Fire Sticks. You got 2 TVs, you need 2 Fire Sticks. You need a Fire Stick for every TV you have in your house. If you got 7 TVs in your house and you want all 7, you need 7 Fire Sticks. That's how it's going to go. But it's going to be cheap. You're only paying $26. Well, for 2 devices. If you get like 5 devices or more, I'll still work a deal with you where it's still going to be cheaper. Then it's still gonna be cheaper than what you're gonna pay. I'm gonna give you a good deal or whatever. So I'm gonna work with you on your price. If you got 4 TVs, you let me know. Hey, I only got 4 TVs. I'll work with you. I'll give you a bill price. I'll give you a price that you can stand every month. Put it that way. I'm not going to charge you ridiculously. And the way your payments go, you pay me every month. You just Cash App it. But I would rather use Zelle because Cash App takes out fees. That's what I don't care about Cash App. Cash App takes out fees. If you could send me payments through Zelle, that's even better. You will know your service is expired because when you log in, it's going to tell you your expiration date. So when your cable expires, just hit me up. You don't even have to call. You don't even have to call me every time you want to pay on it. Just send me the money and I'll connect it. I can connect your cable anytime, any day. It doesn't matter. So yeah. So anybody who's interested in getting the cable, just hit me up and I got you. It's your girl, Lady Mocha. I'm gonna also pour you a cup of truth and break you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care. Be blessed.